Welcome. I'm Alicia George. Thanks for tuning in to a new week of SAT TV News. In our top stories, Domlec acting GM regards death of employee as sudden. Still no explanation on what caused Sunday's island-wide outage. From the region, OACS health ministers to meet for talks on the deadly Ebola virus. And internationally, India ups aid effort as death toll rises after cyclone. In sports division to host Independence Athletics competition. Details of these and other stories will follow right after the break. Welcome back. Acting General Manager of Domlec, Nathaniel George, has said that the death of one of its employees is being treated as a case of sudden death. On Friday, October 10th, Lynn Williams, a 22-year-old employee of Domlec, was reported to have been electrocuted while working on an electrical problem in the vicinity of Salmon Gardens in Canefield. Williams, who was a trainee linesman in the engineering, transmission and distribution department of the company, was pronounced dead at the Princess Margaret Hospital later that evening. However, George told SAT TV News on Monday that the exact cause of death of Williams has not yet been determined.
As to the exact cause of his death, that is not yet known, despite media reports that indicate that he was electrocuted. A post-mortem will be convened to determine the cause of death. So we at Domlec, we are not in a position to determine what is the cause of his death. We, however, sympathize with the family during that unfortunate situation.
The incident was said to have occurred close to Salmon Gardens in Canefield, where Williams was reportedly seeking to facilitate the Feast of the Tabernacle, a celebration of the Yahweh Assembly, when he encountered some difficulty. According to the acting general manager, at the time of the incident, Williams was on leave. George said the staff and Domlec management sympathize with the family.
The staff at Domlec and management, we met this morning to sort of reflect on his short stay here with us at Domlec, to allow the staff to express themselves. Some of them would not have heard of the incident until this morning. And so it was an opportunity for us to show solidarity with his family and particularly with our staff as well, because the crew who worked with him, they've come to know him very well and they're very close. And so the sudden passing in a case like that is always something that is shocking.
George described the deceased as being a very promising young man. Williams was the son of the Deputy Labor Commissioner, Lindell Williams, who is one of the leaders of the Yahweh Assembly Church. Dominica was left in the dark for a few hours on Sunday as a result of an island-wide power outage. Acting General Manager of Domlec, Nathaniel George, explains.
We regret to inform customers of the unfortunate incident that took place last evening as a result of a fault on the Fonkole overhead bus bar. We had a cascading effect on our system. As a result of that, we had an island-wide outage about 7:33. The cause is not fully determined as yet. However, from the inspection that we did last evening and so far today, we have determined that it is in fact originating from the Fonkole bus bar, the overhead bus bar. The effect is we lost some of our generating units, and as a result of that, we were unable to provide electricity for all the customers who remain. That in fact caused us to have to shut down additional units. The time was really spent trying to identify the cause of the problem, but from the information that we have, the situation was not too significant, and as a result we started to have the power restored. Overall, the entire outage lasted about 2.5 hours. Some areas came back on a lot faster than that. It was a tremendous effort on the part of the staff at Domlec. The staff came out, they responded to the incident and worked very hard last evening to have the power restored. Again, we would like to apologize to our customers. We know persons were significantly affected as a result of the interruption. We are in fact continuing our investigation to understand what caused the problem and what steps that we can take to avoid a reoccurrence of that. Certainly persons have commented on the fact that there haven't been island-wide outages at Domlec for a long time, and so we realize that this is what persons have come to expect, that Domlec will keep the lights on. Unfortunately, we do have events like what happened last evening that result in island-wide outages.
On Monday, the Center Where Adolescents Learn to Love and Serve, CALLS, celebrated its 20th anniversary since its establishment. CALLS was established in 1994 to educate at-risk young persons between the ages of 16 and 22 in the northern region of Dominica who, through no fault of their own, had not completed their education. Speaking at the opening ceremony, CALLS Director Olivia Douglas, while acknowledging the work of the organization, said that after 20 years, the vision of Sister Regina Lieber is being celebrated with a week of activities.
When we began, I can remember one person said, "Nothing lasts in Portsmouth." And Sister Raina, at the time, she came and she told me. And when we were speaking, she said, "It is God's work, and only God can decide when it's no longer going to be there."
On April 19, 1995, CALLS, a registered non-governmental and non-profit organization, welcomed its first class of trainees. Douglas said since then, the 2-year program has helped almost 600 disadvantaged individuals to graduate and find gainful employment nationally, regionally, and internationally.
We are very proud of our young persons who, after leaving CALLS, continue to find themselves participating in their own churches and in their own young people's youth groups in their various communities. Therefore, it is very fitting that we give God thanks and praise for this program, which allows us to care for these vulnerable young persons among us so that they too can participate in the building up of God's kingdom here on earth.
In addition to the youth services, CALLS also offers an early childhood development center, a craft and woodworking outlet, a laundry, a cosmetology service, and programs in agriculture. Clifford Prylor, chairman of the CALLS board, officially launched the week of activities on Monday. In addition to the youth services, CALLS also offers an early childhood development center, a craft and woodworking outlet, a laundry, a cosmetology service, and programs in agriculture. Clifford Prylor, chairman of the CALLS board, officially launched the week of activities on Monday.
We have, for example, an aging population, and none of us is sure in this country whether our systems of care, healthcare, etc., are being tweaked, rearranged, refocused to meet the needs of this aging population. We are the political team in Dominica that will make life better for all Dominicans. Right now, our Dominicans in the unemployment category are being targeted as pawns in a political game through a national employment program.
According to Linton, the National Employment Program appears to be targeting individuals who support the ruling party and/or individuals in constituencies where the ruling party wants to secure a political advantage. He said this program is not based on merit or need, as it ignores many unemployed young persons in Dominica who deserve the opportunity for employment.
What will we do differently? First of all, we have said our focus is on getting young people not temporarily employed, but permanently employed in sustainable jobs. Sustainable jobs that will be created when we revitalize and fix the growth engines of the economy. And we talk here of agriculture, of tourism, of manufacturing, construction. We have laid out bold plans, visionary plans, effective plans for ensuring that the economy grows through better treatment, better management, better leadership for the growth engines of the economy. More people working mean more people being able to take care of themselves, more people being able to take care of their families, and that is why we stress best place to work, being energized by a growing economy.
The UWP leader said if the current unemployment trend continues, it will lead to a situation where many more Dominicans will become dependent on the state, which will not have the funds to care for them. He added the UWP's plan for Dominica is to make it the best place to live, work, and enjoy life. Stay with us. When we return, more stories. Thanks for staying tuned. The Dominica Police Force has organized a well-thought-out contingency plan to facilitate safety and security at this year's 18th World Creole Music Festival, WCMF. This, according to Superintendent of Police, Inspector David Andrew. During the final WCMF press conference on Tuesday, Superintendent Andrew said this year the police will develop a robust operational strategy enhanced by a zero-tolerance policy.
We will seek to reduce the probability of any critical incident through a well-thought-out contingency plan. Our general security will involve crime prevention, intelligence gathering, traffic control, and management and security within and outside of the Windsor Park Stadium.
Superintendent Andrew requested the assistance of the public to adhere to the rules and regulations that are set out by the police. According to the regulations, no firearm, whether licensed or unlicensed, will be allowed at the venue. In addition, no weapons or objects that may cause harm are allowed past entry.
No weapons will be allowed, or any articles that can be adopted and used as a weapon. For example, you might think a spoon, simple cutlery, is okay to go in, where no cutleries, particularly metal cutleries, will be allowed in. So no spoons, no forks, because these cutleries can be adapted and modified to be used as weapons of offense.
Home and vehicle owners are also asked to secure their property. To ensure that the event is incident-free, motor patrols will be on watch as far as Layu all the way to Point Michelle. Additionally, the police will assign a response team to intercept any challenges that may arise.
Because we always have a few recalcitrant and disorderly persons who will always seek to challenge and make life difficult for the majority of persons. And this, of course, we deal with swiftly. We will definitely have a quick response team to deal with those incidents and the situation when they do arise.
The police is anticipating an increase in traffic from prior years and has therefore secured several no parking zones in and around the city. The World Creole Music Festival is scheduled for October 24th to the 26th at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Dominicans have been urged to ensure they take proper oral health care, as if neglected, it could have a negative impact on the rest of the body. Chief Dental Officer Dr. Idaline John said this is important, as most of the disease in the body originate from the mouth.
For example, diabetic patients, some of the medication that they would take, and even the food that they would eat, you would see reflecting in their mouth. People like that, when you do treatment, dental treatment for them, they are always prone to infections. So after having done treatment, for example, an extraction, most of the time you'll have to give them antibiotic treatment, or prior to the treatment you'd have to give them the medication. It also takes a longer time to heal. If you're healthy, you have healthy gums, you do a treatment on an extraction, for example, and you don't have gum disease, you'll heal faster than the person who is diabetic. So the oral health really impacts on the general health.
Dr. John said if one takes proper care of his or her mouth, the rest of the body will be generally healthy. She said that neglect of one's oral health can result in contracting various diseases, which can be life-threatening.
Oral cancer is another disease that we notice that it is not so prevalent in Dominica, but we have had cases of oral cancers, and then the causes of that really is the poor oral hygiene and the bad habits of smoking and alcohol. And then you find that most of the time when the people comes in for the treatment, you realize that something is abnormal in the mouth. By the time you do your check, you realize that it's already too late most of the time to do anything for them. You do the biopsy, you get them the diagnosis, and by then, even if they were to do chemotherapy or radiotherapy, it would not take them that long before they really pass on.
Dr. John noted oral cancer is an aggressive disease, so early detection is critical for treatment.
So that's why we encourage people to come in and have their examination at least twice a year. You come in, just check your teeth, the dentist will examine you, check and see what it is, and if you are okay, they will tell you are okay. You do a general cleaning. If there are problems or you identify the problems, they will let you know, and then we confirm a treatment plan and then have you continue your treatment. But if you just stay away because you're afraid and you only wait when you are in pain, by the time you come, most of the time it's already too late to do whatever we could do to salvage the tooth or even to salvage the person's life in terms of oral cancer.
The Dental Health Department of the Ministry of Health on Friday culminated a week of activities observing Oral Health Week under the theme Oral Health, a gem to treasure, now and forever. Local artist Golda Scotland Andrew, stage name Golda, has announced the release of her debut album, Goldilocks Volume 1. The 26-year-old artist, songwriter and producer described the album as an icebreaker.
This is my first ever album that I put together. It's actually an EP, which is a 6-track album. And it's the first album I ever released. It's unlike other albums, which is genre specific. It is not based on a particular genre. It's a fusion of genres.
The album was officially released on Friday, October 3rd at Celis Bar in Roseau. Golda told SAT TV News that her professional singing career began at the age of 18, although she had known her talent majority of her life.
Well, it started off more or less as a hobby, kind of, because I was going to school at the same time. But when I got older and I realized this is what I want to do, this is what I was made to do, created to do, I started taking it seriously, and now I'm trying to make a career out of it.
According to the artist, her career began as a backup singer for rap recording artists in Florida. Today, the singer-songwriter has performed at various shows, including the annual jazz festival at Cabritz in Portsmouth.
I've come a long way because, I started off hiding behind a studio booth. I was very shy to the stage, and it was just always, I was more of a recording artist, and it gave me the chance to perfect my recording craft. However, but I always hid behind the booth. Now I'm more out there, like doing shows.
Golda credited the sixth form Cicero singers and director Pearl Christian, who she said taught her discipline and offered her support. Copies of the digital version of Goldilocks can be found on www.goldagolddeluxe.com. This has been the local segment of the news.